I adore you. You're such a terrific comedic actress who can also do drama. You're so good at what you do, but also, and we won't get into specifics, but you are so smart about people. And you and I have had conversations where different people will come up or in the industry, whatever, and you are so incisive, not mean, just so incisive about human beings, what makes them tick, what you've noticed. And I always walk away and think like, this is an incredible person.
That's so nice.
No, it's true. I mean this 130%.
I believe you. Yeah. And that's like, I don't think anybody's ever said that to me. And I think it's the greatest compliment I've ever received. And I'm not even being like flippant about it. That's a great thing to have somebody think about.
But it's true. I was thinking specifically of different times people have come up and you'll say something and it's just, I feel like you have a bit of a superpower, not a bit of a, it is a superpower to be able to just see people for who they are in this business that's tricky. It's really tricky. And
thanks, Conan.
Part of this journey of this podcast started with me just wanting to be very honest, if I could, talking to people who anyone else would envy and saying, yes, it is great. I am not complaining, but also it is very complicated. And there's a lot of strange people in this business. And there's a lot of our buttons get pushed. And I feel like that is something that you are aware of and you've handled it really well.
I do feel like I've been sort of positioned in a just geographically positioned well, meaning I'm from LA. I have these friends that I grew up with. There's probably like 10 to 15 of us who have been friends since we were little kids, like 5 years old. And none of them do this. And I don't have to get on a plane to go see this group of friends. They're here in the city that I live in most of the time. And so I think that's been helpful. Like they don't care. And they genuinely don't care, but like in a loving way. Whereas some people say that they don't care. Like, okay, so going back to what you're saying, because of Thanksgiving, right, just happened. And I was talking to Tom, and it was like, it's almost like if you do this for a living, what we do, it's like a family disease. Like the way that, tell me if you agree with this.
Okay.
So I'm with my family who are amazing and wonderful, but a lot of family friends, different people kind of come in and you get a lot of like, I don't know if it comes from like, I'm going to prove to you that I'm not impressed that you're an actress. I don't care that you're an actress, so I'm going to say mean shit to you all the time.
Yeah.
And you kind of just take it and it's fine. But like, it's always family, friends, or like some distant aunt that's like, I saw that show. It wasn't for me. I saw that. I liked the other thing you did. You're like, cool. I just spent 8 months of my life. I don't go to like your accountancy office and say like, you know what, you're doing just fine. Like, I don't, and you sort of have to take these blows like all the time. And they're not a big deal, but also nobody wants to hear you complain about these mean things.
It's a tricky balancing act. We were talking on the podcast once to David Sedaris, and he was talking about this exact same phenomenon. And I said to him, I get this sense that there are people that need to tax you, meaning they apply a bit of a tax to you because they think in some way you need to pay them a little bit for your whatever success or perceived better life, you know, I don't know. And it's very complicated because it's so funny because people wouldn't do that in another situation. And I've actually said to people sometimes, it rarely happens, but the times when people are just being downright rude, I'll say to them, I do not expect you to treat me better than other people. But I want it to be treated as well as you treat other people.
Totally.
And so the idea that, no, but I'm sure other people kiss your ass, so I'm going to cross a crowded room and tell you, by the way, I never quite got it. Totally. You're like, wow, okay.
Totally.
That's impressive.
And you have it on a much different scale than I do. And I see also that it would be really annoying for, let's say, your family to have, you know, your sibling have somebody's always trying to talk to your sibling about you.
Yeah.
That would suck. Like, I wouldn't handle that well at all. But I also don't personally feel successful or famous or any of those things ever. Like, I don't think that's the reality of my situation. And so when people occasionally like to kind of stick it to me, I'm like, I was just I was just sitting here. Okay.
It is true. You do just sit around a lot.
A lot.
Most of when we got here.
Every time I've bumped into Lizzy anywhere, she's just sitting.
Yeah, well, I
Sitting
enjoy
like on
a
a
sit.
rock or sitting on a bench.
Yeah.
And I'm like, what are you doing? She's just sitting here.
When you find a nice rock, you can pass up that opportunity. But yes, and then like the dirty little secret is like nobody wants to hear you complain. And, you know, you shouldn't actually complain to many people about this. It's not a universal experience, but
Right.
it is a weird thing where it becomes, and I see it with a lot of friends, or any like little bits of success I've had, it just, you're like up to level of isolation. And because nobody wants to hear you, let's say you, let's make it about you, Conan.
Okay.
Nobody wants to hear you complain because you are very successful and you have a lot of money and whatever.
Oh, I lost a lot of it.
Oh, you used to have a lot of money.
I bought up an entire collection of, put all my money into Victorian pornography.
Ooh.
Yeah, which is not racy at all.
No, it's a lot of clothes.
Yeah.
A lot of ankles.
It's just a bare ankle here and there.
And I'm your only customer.
Yeah. And after you had bought like $8,000 worth, you were cleaned out.
Yeah.
But no, but it's true. And I go through this all the time, which is I'm very clear with a lot of people. I chose my life. I've, had some ups and downs, but I'm the dictionary definition of very lucky in every way. My personal life, my work. I have absolutely nothing to complain about. And I would like that on my tombstone, which would be ironic because I'd be dead, which is a legitimate thing to complain about.
It is.
How about up until this point, I had nothing to complain about.
That's good.
Yeah, dot. Conan O'Brien, 1963, 2025. No, that gives me a little time.
I know, but I have to fix up my resume.
I got to start looking for other work.
Come on, I know you guys are.
Do you want to start a podcast?
I would love to.
Okay.
I really like it here.
We're free.
Yeah,
Okay.
we could just keep the same space.
Yeah.
Okay,
Just
cool.
move from there to there.
Trust
and
me,
then that's it.
everyone would be very happy with that.